there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to another day of Mixed Media Mayhem, where we are using thread, a stencil, and some texture paste. And actually this is a layout I started a couple weeks back with a similar recipe, but it had flair involved in it. And I set it aside. I never got it voiced or anything. And I wasn't super happy with it to begin with. So I am going to work on it, and then eventually I take it apart and redo the background. So I'm starting out with a little texture paste from Paper Studio. It's actually paper glaze, and it was a little bit on the drier side, not super dry, but it was getting a little dry. So I added a little water and I mixed it up really well so that it would have, you know, the right consistency for spreading, and I'm making sure there's no lumps in it. So this 12 by 12 stencil that I'm using, it is from Sandy over at Scrapping Reflections. It is an awesome stencil. I don't remember the name of it, but I'll put a link to it down below in case you're interested in it. So it reminds me of the Yellow Brick Road. So I am documenting going to see Wicked with my husband and my son's girlfriend, who absolutely loves the movie and has seen it a few times. She invited us to go with her and join her for the evening, and we had a great time and really, really enjoyed it. It was a really good movie. So that's what I am documenting here. I really love the way that it looks right here without any color, but I went a little bit crazy and overzealous on the pink and the green to just bring in the colors from the movie. And the color of pink that I have is just a little on the bright side for what I really wanted. And in my swatching, it wasn't quite as dark. So I don't know, maybe, I'm not sure what happened there. But this is, yeah, it's the background that I end up not using. I don't end up throwing it away. I will end up leaving it in my stash of mixed media stuff. And maybe I'll use it in smaller doses, like cut up for some other project or something. I am using a baby wipe right here just to wipe the pigment of the spray off of the top of the paper glaze so that the yellow is still yellow. I thought maybe bringing in a little bit of black would help, so that's what I'm going to do here. I'm using some Dilutions shimmer spray in the pink one, I believe is Bubblegum, and the green one is Dirty Martini, and then the black is Black Marble. And they all have shimmer in them, which is also adding to the, yeah, I don't know, the extra boldness of this background, which was just a little overwhelming for me, like I mentioned. So I'm going to do the whole layout, get it all done, and set it aside. I really just ran out of time to voice it. It was done a few weeks back, and I was not feeling great, and it just never got taken care of. So, and here I'm just adding more pink because some of the white was showing through, and I thought, well, maybe it's the white that's bothering me. It took me a little bit to kind of figure out what was really bothering me about it. I hadn't scrapbooked in a couple of weeks, and that's unusual for me, but with the holidays, not feeling well, and then you know, some other commitments that I had with regard to the cruise that MK and I are hosting a class on coming up soon. I just didn't have time for this, for just the luxury of scrapbooking. I had some deliverable stuff I had to finish. So anyway, I am also adding some white splatter to this to add the white back because I realized I wasn't too happy with it. So a lot of trying to fix what I wasn't happy with. And then, yeah, eventually it gets all made and then set aside. So I'm much happier with the current version of it, which you get to see at the end. But I'm taking you through the whole process and sharing that process with you because I want you to know that it's not always just, you know, super straightforward and easy, even though it's something that I do a lot and something that might seem really easy on a YouTube video because, you know, that's just not how life is. It's just not always the super easy thing to do, especially when I'm out of practice. And 2 weeks, like I said, is a long time for me to not be putting together much in the way of a layout, especially mixed media. I hadn't done mixed media in a little bit. So I am using some Flair from Scrap and Happy Studio. These are Flair pieces that have, one has popcorn, one has a cinema ticket, and one has a reel of film. I thought those were perfect for what I am using on or documenting today. I'm also using some acrylic pieces from MK's shop. I'll put links down below to all of these items if they're still available so that you can find them easily. I'm also going to bring in some tickets just to bring in more of that pink and green and, play off the idea that you have to have a ticket to go to a movie, which I guess in today's world, it's just all digital. You don't really actually have a printed ticket, but back in the day, we all had tickets and some of us kept those as memorabilia, but now you just got to print out on your phone or print out the screenshot of your phone, I suppose, if that's something that you want to save. So, yeah, some things are nice to have, but other things it's like, well, I guess if you it's not a waste of paper for most people because most people probably don't go to the length of documenting their lives that some of us do. So maybe it's better in that respect. Also, everything's done digitally, so it's so much faster. In this particular theater that we're at, you could actually even order food ahead of time and have it delivered to your seat or pick it up at the concession area at a certain time before the movie started. I don't know if you guys have that in your area, but uh, my husband and I have not been to a movie since, I'm going to say before COVID, maybe one since COVID. And yeah, I don't remember it having this level of um, service. But yeah, that's what they have in this particular theater, and it was fabulous because, well, we didn't take advantage of it because we didn't really know a whole lot about it, but she definitely took advantage of it. We just picked up our popcorn before we went in, so something to think about next time. They also have recliners and heated seats, so yeah, like it's like being in your own living room, only you can't be in your pajamas. Well, I suppose you could be in your pajamas. Anyway, I'm using some little mini glue dots to adhere the acrylic pieces. I am popping the flare up onto some foam because they are overlapping the acrylic pieces, but I did flatten my flare in my um, die cut machine. I have a Sizzix switch. A Big Shot would work as well. Even the Stampin' Up! Little mini machine works. Um, I don't recommend it in a Sidekick because the Sidekick is has very small margins for squishing stuff. You got to have really flat stuff, and it doesn't work really well in the Sidekick, but it works in all of those other machines. Um, you just put the flare in there and run it through, and it flattens it out so it's no longer as bulky as it would have been in the first place. And these are the canvas flare, and I really like them. I think they add a lot of nice texture, and they're really pretty. So adding a little spot up here where I can just do a little tiny bit of journaling and keep it very simple about what we are, that she invited us to go see Wicked and we really enjoyed it. In that top photo, it's just me and her sitting there and waiting for the movie to start. In the bottom photo, it's the three of us after, and then there's some signage for the movie Wicked. So wanted to capture that. I conveniently placed the top photo over the top of the bottom photo, which had a red strip across the top. I don't really want to make that red super bold or anything, so I covered it up as best I could. And here is where I decided to pull everything off. And I don't want to say start over because my clusters are all done, right? Everything's already done for me. I'm just marking on my paper where everything is going. And then I put a little bit of green down. I believe this is Catherine Pooler green tea. For some reason, I packed my inks, but I'm at a retreat at this point and I couldn't figure out where I packed them. They were in the bottom of one of the bags. So I'm just using the ones that I have handy here. And, I couldn't even tell you what pink that is. Maybe when I put the lid back on, I'll be able to see it. I want to say it is Tattered Rose, but not 100% sure of that. So I'm just inking it up, being very light-handed with it because I don't want it to be overpowering like the last one was. And then when I dip my ink or my blending brush into my ink, I kind of tap it off in the middle of the layout because I know that's going to be covered up, and then I don't get those harsh lines in my blending, my ink blending. I also did tone down the yellow a little bit. I added some more paper glaze in Primrose Yellow. I think the darker yellow, I want to say it's Daffodil, but I'm not 100% sure. Um, so anyway, I didn't really mix them. I just kind of made it so they're kind of like a swirl. And so there are some highs and lows and lights and darks. And I'm liking how that looks a lot better. It's not quite so bold and in your face. It's just going with the same technique of going over all of the area that is going to be outside of the photos and not worrying about what is under the photos because that's not going to show anyway. And there's no sense in wasting product on it. Coming at it from different angles so that I get some really good coverage. Sometimes I don't really mind if it doesn't have great coverage, but in this particular case, I wanted to make sure that what I'm going to call brickwork kind of shows, even though it's definitely not brickwork, it's squares and rectangles, but it reminds me of that. It's kind of a nod to the yellow brick road. And then I did go over it a little bit more with the pink and the green just to kind of brighten it up just a tiny bit. And I'm liking how that's looking. I do realize my edges aren't completely straight. There's not as much border up at the top as there is on the sides or the bottom. So I'm going to trim all of that down. I'm going to go ahead and mount it back onto black paper just like it was. And that's going to work really well since I have those black acrylic pieces. And it's going to play well with those and just kind of make them pop even more, which I really like. So adding just a little bit of ATG to the background, and I'm going to go ahead and darken that pink up just a tiny bit more. I'm going to audition my photos over there at some point, and then here's where I did find my pink and my green. So I had some twisted citron and some spun sugar there, so I added those just to kind of brighten them up just a tiny bit. And so I'm liking how that looks a lot better. I'm going to take my green thread, my pink thread, and my yellow thread. And actually, I'm not taking all three. I'm leaving the yellow out. So pink, green, and black. And I'm making a little bundle or a little nest of all three colors just by winding them around my fingers. I'm okay with it being messy. It doesn't have to be really neat. And I am adhering it underneath the flare just to give the flare a little landing place and to make them pop just a little bit more. I'm liking how that looks. It really helps if you have a little bit of adhesive on your flare already, so a little bit of glue dots or dimensional adhesive. And then I will put a little liquid adhesive right over the layers of thread so that they get kind of caught up in that liquid adhesive. When it dries, they'll stay nice and tidy where they're supposed to be. So let's see here. While I do that, don't forget there are a bunch of people playing along with Mixed Media Mayhem. So there's a link to a playlist down below so you can go and see what everybody is doing with today's recipe. And you can actually look at past recipes if you'd like. You can also go join the Facebook group for Mixed Media Mayhem Scrapbooking. And you can go to the albums and see what the upcoming recipes or inspiration pieces are in case you're interested in playing along. You can post in that group as well if you have used one of the recipes or inspiration pieces that are coming up. And that is it, you guys. I hope that you enjoyed this one. Thank you so much for watching. If you have questions or comments, you can leave those down below. I'll get back to you as quickly as I can. I really appreciate you spending time with me today. And don't forget to go check out what everyone else has got going on for today's hop. I will be back again with another video real soon. I know I've been a little bit off for January, but I'm hoping to be back coming up real soon in February. So thanks for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.